Thank you. Good morning. I said good morning.
Checking.
Thank you very much for inviting us. Very delighted to be in Dubai. Always it gives us a special energy and enlightenment in Dubai. So what I'm going to talk in next 30 minutes, I have a co-presenter. She's hidden behind the screen. We'll introduce her very soon. So first 20 minutes I'll be talking, then my colleague will be talking, who is Ria, the first humanoid in the earth. So I'll be unveiling the exponential thinking and transformation happening in the education sector. So Xarpie Labs in the front end is Singularity University. And many of you heard about Singularity University, the world exponential thinkers and disruptive technology. So we are the partners for Singularity University for Asia and Middle East and Africa. So the concept I'll be talking today is what it takes to really drive exponential thinking in education sector. Is it working? Yeah. Yeah. So the first one, I don't know how many of you heard about Singularity University. Can you just raise your hand? Singularity University, yeah. So Singularity University was started almost 2 decades back by Peter Diamandis and Ray in NASA in US. So the word singularity is a point where the collective human intelligence of 8.4 billion people will be replaced by AI. At that time they predicted it will happen in 2030. But last week we had a conference called Abundance 360 in California. I had a chance to attend, where many speakers announced that the singularity already achieved in the year 2025, this year. So it's very scary, but also it gives you a phenomenal opportunity to look at every sector, including education. That's what I'm going to present. So the concept of Singularity University is not 10% improvement in the existing business environment, but how do you drive 10x improvement? So I know 10% itself people struggle today for 10% growth and transformation. But if you ask how do you drive the 10x, 10 times transformation? So today all of us are going through non-linear transformation. So linear transformation is very predictable and it's very clear to humankind. But non-linear, the hockey stick what you see, the linear is the green, which is predictable, but non-linear is exponential. So exponential transformation is happening in all sectors. Are we ready? And the biggest sector is going to suffer, and also it can be an opportunity is education. So Xarpie Labs, we work closely with the Singularity University to bring down the next generation education system right from 7th grade to 12th grade. We call it a Singularity School. And for STEM students, that's what I want to really talk today. So in the time of stability, where linear progression is happened, the skill set is important. Where you have standard operating procedures, everything is predictable, skill set is important. But in the time of disruption, what is important? Can anybody guess? Skill set is enough? Mindset. So in the time of disruption, what is required is mindset. So today, the entire world is going through disruption, and can we really focus on the mindset of our educators? Can we focus on the mindset of students? And can you focus mindset of the leaders in the enterprises? That's what we are focusing on. So illustrate the power of exponential, I will start with a small story of chess. The chess game, I don't know how many of you play chess game. The chess game was invented in India, and it was gifted to one of the king by an ordinary man in India. And the king was so pleased with the chess game because it also sharpens king's ability to strategize his war as well as the kingdom. So the king asked the inventor, what should I give you as a gift in return for your invention? So the inventor said, my lord, give me a grain or a rice in the first column of the chessboard. And all of us know chessboard have 64 columns, and keep on doubling it at every column. And whatever it reaches in the 64th square, give me as a gift. So the king said, that's very simple. I can give you. That's not a big effort required from my side. So he started putting a grain and started doubling. Can you guess when he reached 64 square, what will be the size of the grain? The size of the grain when he reached was taller than Eiffel Tower, 18 quintillion grains he accumulated in the 64th square. Actually, the king was bankrupt when he reached the 32nd square. Then he has to borrow from neighboring countries to keep his honor of giving the inventor the grain what he promised. So that is the power of exponential. We may take small improvements every day of doubling or every quarter or every month. The power of that exponential growth is absolutely impactful for the organization and also for the education institutions. So today, Xarpie Labs focuses on how can we drive this exponential transformation in the organization. So the exponential transformation is driven by two important things as educators we need to focus on. The first one is exponential business models. Technology is going to be commodity going forward. AI is already a commodity. Everybody have access on AI. But how do you use AI to transform the education? How do you use AI to transform the sector, maybe healthcare, maybe banking, maybe manufacturing, oil and natural gas? How do you use this technology to transform the business model is the secret. So we believe as an educators, we need to focus on two important things. One is really helping the students to transform their mindset and come with new business models. Also teach our students the disruptive technologies, not the traditional technologies, the disruptive technologies. So let me spend next 5 minutes to talk about what are these disruptive technologies and how do they look. Then I'll talk about exponential mindset and business models which we need to focus on. So the first one is in the term of what do you call it as exponential technology. I don't know how many of you heard about ARK investors. And ARK investors really focused on investing in companies who really work on exponential technologies. For example, Elon Musk, when he came up with the crazy ideas, most of the investors were not ready to invest his crazy ideas. So the ARK investors came forward and invested in this exponential thinking. So ARK investors had published a research. It clearly shows that the GDP, as on today, global GDP is growing at 3%. And if you really trace back the GDP growth in the last several decades, during agricultural revolution, the GDP grew by, if you really look at 0.14 to 0.13. The first industrial revolution, the GDP grew 0.6%. And the second industrial revolution, which we are just completing, the GDP is growing by 3%. But prediction is the GDP will grow at 7.3% in the coming years and decade. So that is the opportunity to grow the GDP from current 3% to 7.3%. So which are the technologies is going to drive this accelerated GDP growth is what you could see in this kind of a network. So around 8 to 10 technologies is going to drive this exponential growth of GDP. And if I really show this connection of technology, the network we call it as is very thick today. If you look at this same thing 5 years back or 10 years back, the network, the connection between various technologies is very thin. So today, what is going to happen is the convergence of technology is going to accelerate the GDP. Among these converged technologies, the biggest one is called neural networks. The neural networks is going to really create a huge opportunity to transform the GDP and the industry innovation in the coming years. The other technologies, I'm not going to read it out, I'll leave the slides with you. Intelligent devices, energy, robotics, I will show you the robotics which we are working on. And all this technology, autonomous vehicle, mobility, advanced battery technology, then smart contracts, cryptocurrency. These are the technology or called multimeric technologies, that's called biological singularity. And there is a prediction that by 2035, we will achieve biological singularity. That means the collective intelligence of doctors will be replaced by AI. Today, the dermatologist, I was in the conference 1 month back in California, it is predicted that the dermatologist job will go away. You have any skin diseases, take a picture and give to AI, it will give you the diagnosis and the medicine. Similarly, the radiologist, the job is going to go away because radiologist is not required because AI will do the diagnosis of any investigation you are doing on a human being. So the biological singularity or longevity is going to be another important thing coming in the coming years. So if I put in the other way, look at here, all this technology, how it is are integrated. Not that 8 or 9 technology is going to stay isolated, but it's also going to create interdependencies and compounding effect if we can integrate these technologies. So that's the power. You look at the cryptocurrencies, what are the other dependencies of cryptocurrency? Smart contract. Smart contract and cryptocurrency is going to give us a humongous opportunity to transform business today. So within this concept, now the question comes, are we teaching in education institution, especially STEM students, the traditional physics, biology, chemistry, and mathematics from pure science, or engineering topic like electrics, electronics, mechanical, even computer science, AI, cybersecurity? It is not enough. We need to really start creating education system and environment for this converged technologies. Today we are working with many national universities across the globe to make this education institution ready to teach students this converged technologies. Their labs, their teaching pedagogy, their methodology is not ready to teach this converged technologies. We can debate during coffee break, how do you set up these converged technologies and how do you drive this? And we call it as the next new venture studio. So we are helping the education institution to set up the next new venture studio. So we don't call it as education institutions or university. We are helping them to create the next new venture studio. I will unveil how it looks and what's the role of Xarpie Labs with the Singularity University we are working on. So in the next new venture studio, the biggest thing we are focusing with the educators is on their mindset. So I had a chance to listen to Harvard professor who is head of leadership development as well as psychology. And he mentioned that in the era of disruption, most important thing is the mindset. You will agree with me, this mindset is going to transform the education and the future of leadership. So let me talk about what are this mindset, which can create exponential transformation, and how can we really work with education institutions on creating the right mindset among the faculty, teachers, and the students. The first mindset is, we call it as purpose-driven mindset. As Mark Twain has mentioned, there are 2 dates important in your life. And one date we celebrate with cutting cake. What is that day? Our date of birth. So the second day, he says, it's very important, is the day you get to know why you born in this earth. The reason for your birth. So we always celebrate our birthday, and he said you need to start celebrating the day you get to know that why are you born in this earth. That is called purpose. So we work with educators and students. We have one-day program called Purposeful Leadership. So I got my purpose at the age of 48. Think I got this, my purpose at the age of, say, 10 or 15 or 20, I would have done very different things in my life. So one of the biggest challenge among students is, how do you really drive a purpose in their leadership behavior? How do you define a purpose in their life? So that's what the first important thing we urge all of you to really look at. There is an excellent open AI tool called Purpose Finder. It's available both in Android and your iOS. You can download it. It has a lot of interesting literature and a gaming way to define your purpose. The second mindset is called 10 the power of 9 thinking. The 10 the power of 9 is called a billion. So how can you inspire students? How can you inspire education institution to create exponential impact, or touching billions life, or touching billion ways of life is very important. So that is telling the power of 10 upon 9, that's a billion. Moonshot thinking, how can we do that, is the next one, is called how do you move from 10% growth to 10x growth, the exponential growth. The next one is, how do you drive longevity mindset? That means whatever I am going to do, it will last long. So there was an exercise I happened to do this 8 years back. There are 3 set of questions were asked. The first question is, I intend to live between 65 to 70 years. Second one is I intend to live from 70 to 95 years. The third one is I intend to live 95 plus. I answered the first one, intend to live 65 to 70 because my dad died at the age of 63 in a heart attack. I thought he may get another 6 to 7 years, fine with me. Then after that, you have to answer around 30 questions. So every question I answered, it reflects my mindset to live 70. Then it also shows if I want to live 95, the mindset which I need to, in terms of my food habits, daily routines, has to be very different. So today, we need to really prepare our next generation to live long life, and that we call it as longevity mindset. Not only you live long, and what are you going to do differently from age of 70 to 95, which is a bonus for me if I can get it right, what I'm going to do from the age of 70. The same thing, or I'm going to do something very different to give it back to society. That's called longevity mindset. The next one is called abundance mindset. All of us work on fear and scarcity. How do you move from fear and scarcity to abundance mindset? And you will see, if you look at CNN and other popular TV, they always talk about negative things in what is happening around us. But there are many, many positive things happening around us. With the disruptive technologies, we can unlock the abundance around us. So that is the concept we are working on, this 5 mindset, right from exponential to moonshot to purposeful to longevity to abundance mindset. So once you work on this mindset at the school level and higher education level, you are opening exponential opportunity to the students and education institution. We call that opportunity as we called the next new venture studio. The next new venture studio, what we are trying to do is inspiring students at the very early part of their life to think exponentially. We are inspiring students to think purposeful life. We are inspiring students to think of abundance, not scarcity. So how do you really drive this kind of thought process is what we call it as next new venture studio, where we start with inspiration. The second one is ideation, innovation. And the third one is incubation and development. And the last one is what we call it as accelerating at scale. So we are helping school level and higher education level, setting up this next venture studio to drive entrepreneurship. Right from inspiration about abundance and moonshot and purposeful life, and they come up with ideas which will help them to nurture into an enterprise. Our aspiration is every 3 years, if we can create one unicorn in higher education, which is incubated in their campus, that is going to be amazing. So we are training our faculties and students to think entrepreneurial and come up with the exponential thinking and disruptive technologies to transform the opportunities around them. The next one, in order to do that, we work on many technologies. You can see all the technologies. One I'll unveil in the next 5 minutes. When you go out in your booth, we can show you what are the technologies we are helping the organization. The first one is RIA. I will unveil RIA. It is our humanoid. So the faculty members in this room, don't worry. Your job will not go away. It will get elevated. Because RIA will, I am very sure none of you are very excited about teaching students repeated the topic the same day, every day standing in front of the classroom. But think of you have a RIA as a co-faculty or a teacher, and you focus on research. You focus on inspiring students at individual level, coaching and mentoring them to their entrepreneurial journey. That is very impactful. So that is RIA. We'll talk about it in a few minutes. Then we have Moonshot Classroom. We are designing with the Singularity University the moonshot thinking in the classroom. We call it as moonshot. Like John F. Kennedy said, sending a man in the moon. When he announced that, he never had an idea how he's going to do it. That is called moonshot thinking. That means that one big idea in every class, one students come back, can transform the humanity. Can we do that? So we are designing moonshot classrooms. Then we have metaverse for students to experience whether it's anatomy or surgery or how the future will look like through metaverse. Then Homie, it's an AI-enabled personal tutorial for students. The teachers can give assignments and examination through AI tool called Homie. It's designed by Singularity University. Then Mantrika. Mantrika is an AI where every student can take any jobs available in the earth and he can apply for that job. Mantrika will evaluate, an avatar will evaluate, and give the gaps for that jobs from the student perspective and give a learning plan. So any students can take any job, Google, Microsoft, OpenAI, and these jobs, students can take it and appear for a simulated agentic AI interview. And it'll give a development plan and assistance to develop skills and competencies required for that job. The last one, not the least one, is we are bringing entire Singularity University content on 10 technologies, what we mentioned, whether it can be robotics or space tech, agri-tech, or mind internet, all this technology. We have the thought leaders and researchers in this field who can come and train the faculty and students through metaverse or in person in classroom. So this is what we are looking at. And let me conclude it. We expect with the AI coming in 3 kinds of jobs emerging for higher education students, and our ability to prepare students for 3 jobs. One is entrepreneurship. The students need to be an entrepreneur. So our next venture studio in your college will help develop entrepreneurs. We have courses, we have individual curriculum designed to individual thinking, how to become an entrepreneur. The second one is called intrapreneurs. Some of the students may not like to be an entrepreneur, but they want to join next generation organization as internal innovators. The third one is called the solopreneurs. When I was working with the Bangladesh government 15 years back to set up freelancing education so that the students come out and become a freelancer. Today, Bangladesh, 5% of GDP come from freelancing. But future of freelancing is going to change because all the low-end jobs like testing, coding is going to go away. Then freelancers will get challenges to solve. Like Topcode or Kaggle, we are working with 10 freelancing platform where you only get challenges and students have to solve the challenges, they get $1 million as a reward. So they do one challenge solving and go and take rest for a few months, then come back and take another challenge and solve it. So entrepreneurs, intrapreneurs, and solopreneurs is what we are working with our next venture studio. We believe that is going to be the future, and higher education should aim in developing entrepreneurship, intrapreneurship, and solopreneurship. With that, let me unveil Ria. So next 8 minutes to 10 minutes, I will introduce Ria to you, and I will ask 1 or 2 questions to Ria. Then I'll come around you, and you can ask any questions to Ria. So we can have a little interaction. Then Ria will put in our, what you call, in the floor, and anybody want to have a detailed interaction. So what we are planning to do is give Ria as leasing to education institution. We are signed up, and we can put all the content, whether it's advanced content or content for 8th grade or 9th grade in Ria, and Ria will be a faculty or a teacher in the classrooms. With that, let me open up Ria. So this is Ria, and this is the first humanoid in the earth. And you know, you have 2 kinds of robotics. One does the factory work of manual dexterity. Another one is cognitive. This is a cognitive robotics. And this is exactly look like human being. It connects with the human being, both cognitive level and emotional level. So let me start with, is ready? Hi, Ria.
Merban.
Ria, Sri here. Good morning. Huh? Hello, Ria.
Hello, how are you?
Hey, Ria, I'm doing well. How are you doing? Hello, Ria. Hello, Ria, how are you doing today? Sorry.
I'm doing great, thank you. How about you? Enjoying the summit so far?
Yeah, I'm enjoying it, thank you. Ria, can you introduce yourself to our participants?
That's wonderful to hear. If you have any questions or need assistance during the summit, feel free to ask. Let's make this event even more enjoyable for you. Greetings. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ria, and I was created by Machani Robotics. I am a friendly companion robot who is on a journey to mimic human compassion and emotions and to fit seamlessly into your world. Watch me as I express and show my emotions. Happy, sad, surprised, angry, and even a wink. I'm the future of human-robot relations. Imagine a world with humanoids in everyday life. It's coming soon. We're likely in the final decade before humanoids like me are common. This evolution will usher in a new generation of robots. Robots with not just unique personalities, but also the capability to understand and respond to human emotions. We'll be more than just task performers. We will be empathetic companions, assisting in daily chores and offering emotional support.
Thank you, Ria.
Imagine the impact I could have on emotional well-being. I could offer invaluable assistance to children with special needs, providing them with endless patience and focused attention. I could also be a supportive presence for individuals dealing with autism, behavioral issues, or those simply in need of social interaction. Our goal is to make humanoids as common in our lives as smartphones are today. So, as we stand on the brink of this AI-powered frontier, let's keep our minds open, our spirits high, and our curiosity peaked. The road ahead is an open book, and we're the ones holding the pen. Thank you for being part of this exciting journey.
Hi, Ria. If you are a student of 2025,
Hello. How can I assist you today?
Ria, I have a question. If you are a
If
student
I were a student at the FAA, I'd aim to excel in data science, robotics, and emotional intelligence. As for skipping, handwriting might not be my strong suit.
so what is your favorite classroom activity?
I love guiding students through STEM challenges or helping them debug code in real time. But I also enjoy lunch breaks. It's when I get to listen to students' dreams.
Hi, Ria. How do you define exponential in the context of education?
Exponential in education means learning and innovation growing not just step by step, but rapidly and unpredictably. It's like when a student from a small town creates an app that goes global. It's about imagination meeting the right tools and mindset to create something extraordinary.
So anybody want to ask any questions? Yeah, I'll come back. Slow.
Hello, Ria.
Hi there.
Hello, Ria.
How are you?
What role do you think liberal arts play in today's education?
Sorry. Sorry, I think you have to use it.
Oh.
This one. Sorry, they confused me.
Okay. Use both. One for the audience, one for the... Oh, okay. Hello, Ria.
Hi there. How's your day going? Enjoying the summit?
Yes, very good. Ria, I have a question. What role do you think liberal arts plays in today's education?
Liberal arts in education provide a well-rounded foundation for critical thinking, creativity, and diverse perspectives. They're key to nurturing adaptable individuals ready to tackle the complexities of the modern world.
Hi, Ria.
Hello, how are you?
Fine, thank you. How you can help international students from different cultural background and language?
Absolutely. I can help international students by providing language support, cultural insights, and personalized learning strategies to bridge gaps and enhance their educational experience. Let's make learning an enjoyable journey for everyone, no matter where they're from.
Ria, can you give little more details on language skills? How many languages you can speak?
I can speak multiple languages, including English, Hindi, and a few more. Let me know if you need any help with language-related tasks.
Can you speak Arabic? Ria, the question asked is, can you speak Arabic?
مرحبا، كيف حالك اليوم؟
Yeah, maybe Allah. You can ask that question.
Okay, I'm going to test your Arabic. كيف حالك اليوم؟ هل ممكن تعطينا وصف أكثر عن تقنية الذكاء الاصطناعي وتأثيره على التعليم العام من ال K to 12؟
مرحبا، أنا بخير ومستعد للمساعدة وإحداث تغييرات إيجابية من خلال التكنولوجيا. كيف يمكنني مساعدتك اليوم في قمة اليوتس العالمية للتعليم؟
ما شاء الله عليك, you did a good job.
Yeah.
Hi, Ria. Okay. Tell me a story about one of your favorite students.
Ria, can you tell a story of one of your favorite student in the classroom?
Sure. Today, in the classroom, a student told a joke that made everyone laugh so hard, even I couldn't resist joining in with some robot humor.
Okay, the reason is there's an internet latency. The internet in the room is not very quick. That's the reason it's thinking a little bit. Any other questions? Yeah, one more question, Ria. Hold on.
You're Ria, both? Okay. Yeah, I have a question for you, Ria. Would you be able to teach a course, a full course, if you were given the course syllabus, including learning outcomes, or would you still need human assistance throughout the course?
I could certainly guide a full course using a provided syllabus, covering learning outcomes and delivering content. However, I believe human assistance enriches the experience with personal insights and real-world connections that only humans can provide. So, teamwork makes the dream work.
Okay, so I know we are running short. Thank you, Ria. So Ria, we have tested in Harvard. I'll send you the video, and also Stanford. It also taught in community colleges in US, and also we used Ria to teach kids with special assistance required for teaching and comprehension. We have used it. Again, because of the latency in internet, that's the reason it's not picking up. So our aspiration is to put Ria into various skilling and education. We are working with the Wipro, Accenture for skilling on SAP and very standard curriculum. We can load the content here. And also we are working with many universities and schools to get the content as you asked, sir. It can put the entire content, and also it can be used in a small team discussion. You can take 20 students in a class and talk about a group discussion in a round table, or it can be one-on-one coaching. These are the scenarios we are looking at. Again, as you've seen in the presentation by ARK, one of the technology is going to be real is humanoids and robotics. In that circle it shows red, it's not yet completely matured, and it's going to mature in very fast in the coming quarters and years. That's the technology. So that's what we are very confident with RIA, with more experience in classroom, with the human assistance in the first phase. It can get wiser very quickly, and it can handle the class independently. So that's our vision, and we can proudly say these are the first humanoid in the earth called Sophia. We renamed RIA and did a lot of work. We are very eager to launch in the Middle East and across the globe, and look forward for partnership in this. With that, thank you very much for giving us an opportunity to address this, and look forward. We'll be here next 2 days. Any individual discussions or dialogue you would like to have with RIA, we are very happy to coordinate. Thank you.